Parents urged to prioritize children's safety and get them vaccinated. 5 bills to be tabled at the next June Assembly. Wilson Sim quits the national swimming team. Those are the headlines for tonight. Hi everyone, I'm Douglas Ellis and this is TVS Nightline. Sarawak's new COVID-19 cases today recorded a downward trend when 186 cases were reported compared to 214 cases yesterday. Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said this was due to the high vaccination rate in Sarawak, in addition to the strict compliance to the standard operating procedures (SOPs) by Sarawakans.
Walaupun tidak membahaya, not that severe, mengikut kajian daripada pihak pakar, tidaklah begitu mencabar. Tetapi kalau boleh kita nak turunkan juga Omicron ini supaya tidak menjejaskan cara hidup kita. Dan satu-satu caranya ialah kita mesti mempunyai antibody yang kuat. Dan mereka yang belum lagi menerima dos penggalak booster, saya nasihatkan untuk mendapatkan booster. Saya pun sudah ada booster. Jadi hidup kita akan menjadi normal dalam kita menghadapi masa ini. Dan Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak kita telah memberikan bantuan selain daripada KKM dan Kerajaan Pusat untuk kita meneruskan usaha ini, dan alhamdulillah, thank God that we are still within the low range. Walaupun semalam ada 200 lebih, hari ini 186. Hari ini 186. Hari ini 186. Dah 3 hari ada menurun. Dan kalau kita semua kerja sama, saya ingat ia akan terus menurun. Dan saya rasakan bahawa kita akan mempunyai beberapa precaution untuk meneruskan usaha kita.
He said this to reporters after visiting the vaccination center at Kota Sentosa Health Clinic on Saturday. Meanwhile, as for the breakdown of the cases per district, Kuching recorded 69 new cases today, followed by Miri 42, Cebu 33, Samarahan 8, Song 6, Kapit 5, Bintulu 4, Lawas 4, Serian 3, Limbang 3, 2 each in Sarikei and Beluru, and 1 each in Sriaman, Mradong, Betong, Mukah, and Sabao. Sarawak's cumulative number of cases now stands at 254,026.
Parents in Sarawak who are still hesitant about getting the COVID-19 vaccination for their children should prioritize safety for their children in making their decision. Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said with the Omicron wave causing a spike in COVID-19 infections, it is important to ensure that children are vaccinated.
Dan saya rasa bahawa ada juga ibu bapa yang masih lagi ragu-ragu. Kalau kita melihat bahawa setakat ini kita ada kejayaan, yang ragu-ragu ini saya harap akan menyahutlah, membenarkan anak mereka untuk disuntik. Walaupun tidak membahaya, not that severe, mengikut kajian daripada pihak pakar, tidaklah begitu mencabar. Tetapi kalau boleh kita nak turunkan juga Omicron ini supaya tidak menjejaskan cara hidup kita. Dan satu-satu caranya ialah kita mesti mempunyai antibody yang kuat.
Abang Johari said this after visiting the PICKids Vaccination Center (PPV) at the Kota Sentosa Health Clinic on Saturday. Since the implementation of PICKids on February 3rd, some 19,430 children, or 6.8% of the 286,000 children population in Sarawak, have received their vaccines. A survey conducted by the Sarawak Health Department found that 60.3% of the 41,350 respondents from among parents in the state supported PICKids. However, the survey also found that 14.5% of parents were not keen in allowing their children to be vaccinated as they have concerns about complications and side effects caused by the vaccines.
In similar development, the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Children, or PICKids, in Kuching received positive responses from parents. When met by TVS, parents described their amusement with their children's reaction, with some children waking up early and expressing their excitement to be vaccinated.
Sebelum ni COVID ini teruk bah, tidak dapat keluar rumah, sentiasa dekat rumah saja. Belajar pun susah sebab belajar di online class bah. Belajar di rumah saja, sunyi bah, tidak dapat berjumpa dengan kawan dia. Memang dia tunggu-tunggu sampai hari inilah. Syukurlah dia dapat vaksin hari ini sebab bagus bah. Untuk keselamatan diri, keselamatan semua orang bah. Memang patut divaksin lah semua budak-budak kini.
Yalah, baguslah untuk kebaikan orang, untuk mana-mana pun sekolah pun senang bah. Tidak usah kita pun tak perlu takut-takut lagi, ragu-ragu lah macam tu. Ya, tidak perlu lagi macam kan banyak itu macam sakit apa-apa itu sekarang kan aduh pun takut juga mau bagi anak sekolah. Kalau ada vaksin pun ada kebaikan lah. Ya.
According to the medical officer at Kota Sentosa Health Clinic, who is also the coordinating officer of PICKids KK Kota Sentosa, Dr. Nurshafisah Ahmed, the total number of children who came for vaccination was 230 out of the 308 children that were eligible.
The 19th State Assembly Dun special sitting will be held for 3 days from 14 to 16 February to fulfill the requirements as stated in Article 21 Bracket 4 of the Sarawak State Constitution. According to Dun Speaker Tan Sri Dato' Amar Muhammad Asfiar Awang Nasar, there will be no opening ceremony by the Yang di-Pertua Negeri Tun Abdul Taib Mahmud. Instead, it will be held on a later date to be decided by the state government.
Namun begitu, ucapan perasmian oleh Tuan Yang Terutama Yang di-Pertua Negeri akan diadakan kemudian pada satu tarikh yang akan ditetapkan oleh kerajaan negeri. Persidangan kali ini akan dimulakan dengan upacara angkat sumpah ahli-ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri pada hari persidangan pertama, iaitu Isnin 14 Februari 2022. Pada hari tersebut, kesemua 82 orang ahli-ahli yang berhormat adalah dijemput hadir bersama pasangan masing-masing.
He added that the assembly sitting is held to fulfill the requirements as stated in Article 21 Bracket 4 of the Sarawak State Constitution, that the new state assembly shall call for a meeting on a date not later than 120 days from the date of the dissolution for the previous Dun.
The first sitting of the first term of the 19th Sarawak Legislative Assembly, starting from next Monday to Wednesday, will be seeing the tabling of 5 bills. State Assembly Speaker Tan Sri Muhammad Asfiar Awang Nasar said the bills set to be tabled are the Supplementary Supply 2021 Bill 2022, Constitution of the State of Sarawak Amendment Bill 2022, and Interpretation Amendment Bill 2022. Also to be tabled are the Sego and Nipah Development Board Bill 2022 and the Sarawak Rubber Industry Board Bill 2022.
The Supplementary Supply Bill 2021 and 2022 will be presented by the Minister of Finance to Dato' Amar Douglas Ugah Embas, whereas the State Constitution of Sarawak Amendment 2022 will be tabled by the Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Minister of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Dato' Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah. The Interpretation Amendment Bill 2022 will be tabled by Assistant Minister in the Chief Minister's Department, Law MA 63 and State Federal Relations, Dato' Sharifah Hasida Said Aman Ghazali. Meanwhile, Minister of Agricultural Modernization and Regional Development Dato Sri Dr. Stephen Rundi Utom will table the fourth and fifth bills, namely the Sago and Nipah Development Board Bill 2022 and the Sarawak Rubber Industry Board Bill 2022. Asfia told a media conference that the first readings for all the bills will be on the second day of the sitting, on Tuesday, February 15. He said this time, the opening ceremony by the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Tun Abdul Taib Mahmud will be held later on a date to be decided by the state government.
The Constitution of the State of Sarawak, Amendment Bill 2022 dan Interpretation Amendment Bill 2022, bacaan kedua dan ketiga akan dilakukan pada hari yang sama, iaitu Selasa 15 Februari 2022. Manakala bagi Supplementary Supply 2021 Bill 2022, Sago and Nipah Palm Development Board Bill 2022 dan Sarawak Rubber Industry Board 2022 bagi baca kedua dan ketiga akan dilakukan pada hari ketiga persidangan, iaitu Rabu 16 Februari 2022.
Asfia added that the assembly sitting will begin with an oath-taking ceremony by the 82nd Sarawak State Assembly members on Monday, February 14. No question and answer sessions and winding up speeches by the ministers would be held.
Sarawak government is committed to attaining its vision of achieving 100% utility coverage in Sarawak by 2025. And to meet this goal, the government has approved an allocation of 180 million ringgit for three main programs under the 12th Malaysian Plan. Minister of Utilities and Telecommunications, Dato' Julahi Narawi, said the three projects are grid connection for existing Sarawak Alternative Rural Electrification Schemes or SARAWAK'S, replacement of batteries and key components for standalone solar systems, and additional or lead applicant funds or ALAF projects.
Elaborating further, Julahi said the ALAF project aims at supplying electricity to approximately 17,000 households throughout the state.
As of the end of 2021, electricity supply coverage for Sarawak is 98.6%. The urban areas have full coverage, while the coverage in the rural areas is about 96.5%. The remaining 3.5%, inshallah, will be achieved, hopefully, by the year 2025.
Julahi said this while speaking at the Ministry of Utilities and Telecommunications Majlis Amanat in conjunction with the Chinese New Year 2022 celebration at Borneo Convention Centre, KUCHING on Friday night. He added that in line with the state's vision of becoming a high-income state by the year 2030, his ministry will be undertaking the generation, transmission and distribution network development to provide sufficient energy capacity to support the state's growth and development. The projects for this network development are streamlined with the post-COVID-19 development strategy PCDS 2030.
Water is vital for all known forms of life, thus no one should be denied from getting sufficient water supply. There has been a challenge to close the gap on water supply between the urban and rural areas in Sarawak. Thus, Utilities and Telecommunication Minister Dato' Julahi Narawi said the government has allocated 8.26 billion ringgit to ensure 100% water supply coverage throughout Sarawak.
As of the end of 2021, our overall water supply coverage is about 83.4%. We managed to supply 99% coverage at the urban areas. However, our rural water supply coverage is only up to now is 66.5%. That is why, under the 12th Malaysia Plan, our ministry has embarked on the implementation of statewide water grid to ensure the provision of reliable, sustainable, and resilient water supply to the people of Sarawak for the long term. As of now, Ringgit Malaysia 8.26 billion has been allocated for the implementation of 616 water supply projects, including Project Rakyat. The government has approved an allocation of Ringgit Malaysia 4.7 billion in 2022 for the implementation of various programs for water supply projects throughout the state.
July, he said, for remote areas which are not accessible by roads, the ministry had initiated the Sarawak Alternative Water Supply or SARAWAK'S program to provide safe and clean water to those living in rural areas. July, he also stated that as of now, 183 water supply projects had been completed, and out of the 123 ongoing projects, 59 projects are making good progress. However, July, he also noted that currently there are 64 projects which are already delayed or classified as sick projects, but he assured that they will be given closer attention by his ministry. So far, he said a total of 4 billion ringgit has been allocated to his ministry for the development of water supply projects.
Many of these projects are expected to be completed by the year 2022. I would like to emphasize that we should ensure that all the ongoing projects will be completed successfully as planned, on time. This is crucial as all of these projects are to address the issue in the stress areas. By addressing the issues in the stress area, we hope it will reduce the complaint from the rakyat.
The Ministry of Utilities and Telecommunications target to achieve 100% water supply coverage throughout the state by 2025.
Welcome back. Sarawak has been chosen for the first time to host the Citrawana Keluarga Malaysia 2022 program. Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said Sarawak's rich diversity and culture is a tourism draw for both domestic and international tourists.
Bukan kerana saya orang Sarawak, sebab saya Menteri untuk Malaysia. Namun begitu kerana Sarawak tidak ada peluang sebelum ini. Jadi ini merupakan kali pertama Sarawak dipilih menjadi tuan rumah Citrawana. Sudah tentu kita melihat pemilihan ini adalah bertepatan sekali kerana Sarawak mempunyai pelbagai suku kaum dan etnik yang bersesuaian untuk diketengahkan kepada seluruh keluarga Malaysia di negara kita. Dan kalau kita selalu dengar Sarawak mempunyai 27 etnik besar, etnik besar, ada lagi sub-etnik setakat ini mempunyai bahasa, kebudayaan dan cara kehidupan masing-masing sudah pasti menarik perhatian pengunjung domestik dan juga antarabangsa. Sebenarnya ramai orang kita sendiri di Sarawak ini sendiri masih belum mempelopori Sarawak, negeri Sarawak sendiri. Jadi dari situ kita dapat melihat keharmonian, perpaduan dan integrasi nasional yang boleh diangkat sebagai elemen kebudayaan dalam mempromosikan keunikan Malaysia di mata dunia.
She said this during an exclusive interview with TVS for the Sejahtera Asia program on Saturday morning. Nancy added that the event will be held not only to enhance Sarawak's economic activities, but also to promote Kuching as a creative and gastronomic city at the UNESCO level, and also as a world craft city.
The government has maintained the country's economic growth forecast for 2022 in the range of 5.5% to 6.5%. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said the figure was also in line with the International Monetary Fund and World Bank projections of 5.7% and 5.8% respectively.
Tengku Zafrul added that the continued momentum of the country's economic recovery is clearly visible with a gross domestic product GDP growth of 3.1% for 2021. Meanwhile, the Department of Statistics Malaysia DOSM and Bank Negara have announced GDP growth of 3.1% in 2021, in line with the government's projection of between 3% and 4%. This figure is an improvement over 2020 when GDP contracted between 5.6%. Adding further, Tengku Zafrul said the increase in GDP reflected the momentum of economic recovery that was clearly visible during the fourth quarter of last year, especially through improving economic indicators. Meanwhile, investors were also seen to be more confident in the country's recovery prospects. Tengku Zafrul said the growth momentum is expected to continue this year, which would be the impetus for the country's GDP to continue to recover to levels before the COVID-19 pandemic.
Now on to some sports development. Two-time Olympian Wilson Sim has quit the national swimming team, which sent shockwaves throughout the Sarawak swimming fraternity. The 24-year-old tendered his withdrawal to the National Sports Council and Malaysia Swimming on February 7th.
However, Wilson has confirmed that he will continue competing as an independent athlete. Amateur Swimming Association of Sarawak President Datuk Wee Hong Seng said the 24-year-old swimmer could not be contacted after his departure. Meanwhile, Malaysia Swimming Secretary Mei Chen has confirmed Wilson's withdrawal when contacted by local media. It was not elaborated nor confirmed as to why Wilson quit, but Mei Chen said Wilson could pursue a different approach to get himself back to the level he was once at. Wilson's departure is the second case of a national athlete going independent this year after badminton player Lee Zijia.
Thank you for staying with us. More than 30 ships from the Russian Black Sea Fleet have started training exercises near the Crimea Peninsula as part of a wider Navy drill, as Western nations warn that a war in Ukraine could ignite at any moment.
Russia's military moves are being closely scrutinized as its massing of troops near Ukraine had rattled the West and sparked concern that it plans to invade Ukraine. Moscow denies any plan to invade, saying it was maintaining its own security against aggression by NATO allies. More than 30 Russian ships have left the ports of Sevastopol and Novorossiysk in accordance to the plans of the drills near Crimea, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. The aim of the drills was the defense of the coast of Crimea, the outposts of the Black Sea Fleet, as well as the economic sector and naval communications. Russia announced last month that its navy would stage a sweeping set of exercises involving all its fleets this month and next, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, in the latest show of strength in a surge of military activities during this current standoff with the West.
And finally, a zoo in England is giving scorned lovers the chance to name a cockroach after their ex in the zoo's Name a Cockroach program. For £1.50 or £8.50, donation donors can name a cockroach to fund conservation projects at the zoo.
Hemsley Conservation Centre is home to a colony of 12 adult Madagascar hissing cockroaches and hundreds of baby cockroaches. Donors will receive a certificate along with the option of adding a personalized message, and their chosen name will appear on a special board which will be unveiled on Valentine's Day.
For Valentine's Day, you can name a cockroach after an ex-partner. If you've had a particularly nasty breakup and need a pick-me-up, it's a good way to have a little giggle to yourself or with your friends. But also we're saying if you wanted a name after a politician maybe this year, then you're more than welcome to. All names are welcome. And it's all to raise money for projects that we're doing here at the zoo and helping us care for all the animals here.
The zoo started the initiative in 2019 and had over 2,000 names submitted in 2020. Some names on the 2020 board belongs to politicians such as David Cameron, Boris Johnson, and former US President Donald Trump. After a pause in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the zoo is bringing back the program due to popular demand, and few hundred names have already been submitted.
Program again, we weren't planning to this year, but we had so many emails and so many requests of people wanting to name cockroaches from all over the world that we brought it back again for 2022. And yeah, we're hoping to have a couple of thousand by Valentine's Day, which would be absolutely fantastic.
Despite having a reputation as pests, Henry said cockroaches are vitally important to the ecosystems of rainforests and woodlands.
That's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For the latest development, head to our website TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you, and till then.